Day 140 on planet Earth. Okay, I've come in this morning and the guys have listened and they're clearing out. Slowly clearing out. So all the floors can take him back to where they should be. Lots to do. Literally shouldn't be that long. I mean, it's been 2 hours so far, so hour and a half, sorry. So, I need to put a time frame on this, otherwise it'll go on all day. Steel benders are here, putting in beams. So, there's one guy there, running the beam across, which is good. Everything's got our beams on it now. So this is ready for a beam. The front is ready for the beam. This is now ready to be taken off. All the shuttering coming off of here now because that was poured yesterday. That's all good. We now have the drawing for all the beams that go around above that one as well as all the top of the doors, top of these doors, so they can all be done as well. So the owner of the rebar company is here on site. So we'll see what he's got planned. We've also seen, now we're sweeping up, we're seeing quite a few hairline cracks in the floor, which is a bit of a concern. There's a few of them. They all seem to be stemming from where the air conditioning holes are as well. So there's another one. So yeah, certainly not the full floor finish we were hoping to have. Here. So we're going to have to work out the best thing is to do with that. So it's not going to be very visual. We're also, unfortunately, as I said yesterday, going to have to take up all the sewage again. So from what I can see, it stems from the initial setup and laser lines being pulled. It wasn't done. So what we should have done, these pipes here coming out of here are the lowest point, and they're currently diagonally going into this manhole here. In an ideal world, they should be coming in around about a foot off the floor. So you've got some play. So at the moment, that's very close to being on the floor. This pipe coming out of here does look like it's at an angle, but by the time you get down to here, it looks like it's pretty much straight. So we've now got to break off all of this concrete to try and get this pipe up and reset 2 inches lower, at least that end. I would probably go 3 inches lower that end. So we've got to do the 3 inches that end. They've also...
Once we dig up concrete from here, this got enough space to here that this could drop.
Yeah,
digging up.
which is the good thing, yeah.
This is the good thing.
Yeah, so we got to go 2 inches there, and then that the one coming out the other side has got to be a good 2 inches lower than that one.
This could go lower too. All two actually could go down lower.
Yeah, but if you think about it, that's got to go down 2 inches, which puts that pretty much near to the floor,
And this could go down.
and that one's got to be at least 2 inches lower than that one. So that's where we're going to have an issue. So we're going to have to can go out the floor.
You only got can't go on this side.
Yeah, so we're going to have to can go out down, and then that creates the third problem, which is we've already got a non-running pipe as it is,
Yeah, we got to dig up all this.
which means we've either got to take out the base of that one or start again. Fourth problem, when you come out of that side, that septic tank is not low enough. So we're going to have to pull the septic tank up, dig it all back out and reset it. The joys of not using the $3,000 laser that we've had sitting in the container for the last 3 months. So anyway, that's what's happened today. And the logistic issue, obviously, is to get the septic tank out. We need to get an excavator over here, up here, down here, over to there. So we need to try and get this set so we can try and backfill some of this. But again, backfilling can't be done until that is set. And we also have tested the run. And we can't really test the run until the septic tank's been done and the pipe's in. So it's all catch-22. We've got a massive amount of soil sitting everywhere, and we need to get over it to get the job done. So really what we should be doing is pulling a laser line from here over to the septic tank to establish how low that septic tank has got to be set. And off the base of setting that at the level it needs to be, we can then divide that by 1, 2, 3 runs. So if it was 10 inches, for instance, we just divide it and come up with whatever that is, 3.3. So that would be 3.3 inches lower, that would be 3.3 inches lower, and that would land up plugging straight into the septic tank at 3.3 inches lower. That's what we should have done. That hasn't been done. As a result of that, last night I poured water into here just a little bit, to the point where I took water into the pipes by 1 inch. That one didn't run, and this one ran backwards. I had to be a rocket scientist to realise that if a pipe has got the relevant run on it, water doesn't run uphill. So anyway, sounds like I'm moaning. I am, in all fairness, but it's just a frustration. Frustration that some good people on site, and they're allowing certain things to go ahead when they know it shouldn't be done, and then it causes us nothing but aggro and repeating the work that we do over and over again, which is a shame. But anyway, we need to get the excavator man. His truck's here, but he's not. We ideally need him helping us pull this up sooner rather than later, so we can actually get it all done. Mr. Rebar is here with his guys, so he's got plenty on. He's got shit to do, that's for sure. All the masons and all the labourers all working tightly together, but I will go and give them a time frame to get finished up, because otherwise we'll be 11, 12 o'clock, we'll still be going. And here I am being shouted by the rebar man, so the digging of the pipes commences. What we're having to do first of all is just starting this way, just by busting up the top of the concrete that we laid to try and set the pipe in place. Once we've actually done that, we'll free the pipe to be able to move backwards and forwards. We'll be able to slide it in and pull it out completely. And then hopefully, because we actually put the concrete down on a sludgy mud, we should be able to just lift up the actual concrete that's underneath and just remove it. So this pipe itself has got to go down by about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches. And that also means it's got to go down the other end, at least, if not more. At the moment, we've got the guys over the back digging out all the soil off of the septic tank, because ideally we need to get a winch around that and lift that out, dig it out another foot and lay it back down again. So yeah, painful, really painful. And 20 past 11 and not a plumber in sight. So my advice to anybody building, make sure that whatever plumber you select understands and is experienced and is proven to be able to deal with drainage. Because they all act like they can, but without being rude, it's very obvious that they're not that experienced enough with it, which means that if you don't know what you're doing and you allow them to lay it and backfill it, 1, 2, 3 years down the line, we're just going to get smells in the house. And then, as they say, most of people's houses in Barbados are actually what's killing them. So it's the gas and everything else that's not meant to be coming back into the house that you end up breathing in all the time. So it's got to be done right. Anyway, so I would say that we've already got about 2 or 3 hours digging these out, and then we've ordered an excavator to come out and actually dig up this one, because it's too embedded. So yeah, I think it's easy just to stick a massive excavator bucket through it and smash the pipe up, take it out and start again. It saves them man hours, and then whilst they're here they can also lift out the actual septic tank as well and do that at the same time. So that's the aim so far. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're at 20 past 1. Let's have a quick update on what's actually happened. So up here is looking a lot cleaner, number one, which I'm sure you'll all agree. Try to make them understand this needs to be done on a daily basis. Fed up of actually seeing it looking like a bomb site, as my mum used to call it. So it's looking a lot tidier up here. And if they can just do it every day, then it'll be so much nicer. However, within 2 minutes, bottles start appearing. What is it with Bayesian labourers and Bayesian tradespeople and their fucking bottles? Jesus. Everywhere you look. Anyway, door frame is in, beam is across, wall's been scratch coated both sides, door frame too low, told them it needs to be 8 foot, not too sure why that was gone in at 6'8", but it did highlight they've also done the bathroom door at 6'8". All the doors are meant to be 8 feet. The clue is in every other door that's already been done, 8 feet. Clues in the windows, 8 feet. Clues in the doors and windows, 8 feet. Clues in the windows, 8 feet. But anyway, for some reason they managed to sneak in a 6'8". Block wall's obviously finished to here. This beam needs to be extended across. Again, 8 foot door frame, so that will be extended across and that will be poured off. Front beam needs to be extended and built all the way across, which is something they're going to be doing in the next couple of days. Same situation here. it needs to be connected into that, so nothing will be done on that, but that will be boxed up and extended over once that's done, and once that's concreted, obviously 3 rows will go on top of that as well. What else? These beams are going to go right across here, so that's going to be done probably Saturday and Sunday, if only. Beams over the toilet as well, which we'll see when we go past. Loads of people scratching their heads in the sewage area as always. Yeah, there's a beam across the toilet as well. And then here's been cleared up and boxing room removed, and the boys are on the blocks already. So we can technically go 3 rows all the way around here. Not the prettiest boxing I've ever seen, but yeah, they can actually, I think they poured in here as well, so they can take that off at some stage today as well. And then they're literally 3 blocking all the way around here. Once that's been blocked up, three rows again, like over here, they can start doing the steel to the top. So the rebar boys, their number 1 goal today is to physically get any form of steel boxing made and installed that hasn't been blocked, so that we can board up and pour. Once we board up and pour, then like there and like the starting there, we can start doing the 3 rows of blocks, and then then they're spending all weekend beaming across the whole building. So that's the aim. Obviously, one of the biggest problems we've had today is this goddamn sewage yet again. So George the plumbers are here. It looks like he's about to have a nervous breakdown. But we've now worked out that from the top of this pipe here, we're 3 inches lower than higher over there. So we've now got to can go out, which is what Pedro's doing now. And that should, on the other side, take us through the actual concrete base, which is not good. So we're going to have to go 12 inches down within the base, get the left-hand turn that we're looking for done, and pour 6 inches of concrete back in there to give it a base. And then they call it benching, where they literally use like a plaster to build the water tracks to ensure the water flows. So that needs to be done in every single one of these. And what the actual, like I said in the previous part, what the masons have said is that in order to physically do that concreting benching, they need the actual manholes to be lower, otherwise they can't reach. So anyway, the excavator's here waiting to do what it's got to do. He's obviously a bit nervous that he's got to go over all this pipe work. That's obviously too tall. This can't be backfilled because it's still not sorted. So at the moment we need to get that one up and lowered by 3 inches. That one's already been taken out and needs to be lowered by about 4 inches. And the far one needs to be lowered by about 4 inches, which means we need to take the septic tank back up, and it has to be resubmitted. So yet again, more work being done on the sewage, which is just driving me absolutely insane. But here you can't actually hold one person responsible for it. You would think that the plumber would go, look, just step aside, let me deal with this. But he does his part, the builders do their part, and it just goes on and on. So anyway, I'm hoping that the plumber is still here. Yeah, his car's still here. So I don't know what he's actually doing where that's concerned, but we also need to sort out the front drainage as well. Front drainage is obviously going to be coming out the front of the building, and it's going to run along here in front of the house, and it's going to connect over to that manhole there. So once that's been established, then the run that goes down the back towards the manhole they're now trying to rectify can be sorted as well. And then we can backfill, and we can try and obviously move around a bit more freely and potentially concentrate on working on this back piece. So yeah, a bit of an awkward situation, because you would normally deal with this first, get this backfilled and then move forward, but this has been an absolute nightmare and it's got to be dug back up. So anyway, hopefully today we'll finish having to talk about sewage and poor runs and all that sort of stuff, and we can move on to other more important things. Fingers crossed. Okay, 5:10, just nipped into sight quickly. Let's have a quick look what they've been up to. The God boys are still here. So we busted out a deeper hole now in there, and we're going to try and make that L-shaped off to this side. Say this side. This one here, we're going to still have to break that up tomorrow and try and get that one down by at least an inch. Then we can make sure this one's 2 inches lower than that one. That lands up being 2 inches lower than here, and then we've got to be 2 inches lower on the other side. And then we'll find out whether the actual tank itself has got to be changed or not. This has now been put in, but again, we just raised it because the plumber's not done it high enough. So this is the waste that's coming from the toilet, the downstairs toilet. So that's coming down and then 45 degreeing into the actual hole itself. But we've just raised it now. It looks like that's how it should be, maybe a little bit higher. But again, if we got height, why not go a little bit higher than we can? Over this side, that's boggy there. We've got pipes down in already at the moment, but we're not going to do anything on that at all until we physically get to a point where we've got the other one over here set and done. And on top of that, we can't really do a great deal with it anyway, purely because the waste is coming from the other side. So there's nothing we can do on that side until we've done the bust out of the building itself. I'll show you what the bust out of the building looks like. Let's have a quick look. So we've got a bust out here and then run all the way along the front of the step. The step's actually being concreted in, which is good. Okay, so the steps are going in. My wife wanted columns and steps. You've got no columns, but you've got steps left. Out your way, buddy. Okay, so we've got a bit of mess going on. This has actually been pushed into here. So that's going to be the floor elements. That needs to be pushed in, levelled off. Let's go around the front because that's the only way to get out now. They're doing the step. Hey? Did you get in it? You did now. My daughter, Brooke. So we go around the back of the building. Been there 2 seconds, I'm absolutely caked already. Okay. The sea sounds a lot calmer today. Okay, so let's have a quick look up here. So nothing to be done on this side today. The boys have been actually taking all the boxwork off of the annex cottage. And the blockwork's going up already. Fair play to the boys. So the boxwork's been taken off the main column here. Some of it. Blockwork's going up 2 courses already on the front. Three courses in here. Beautiful. George has still got to connect up the grease trap here. But yeah, good to see that that's been poured, boxed off, and now with 3 going all the way around, that means we can start putting the beam in here potentially tomorrow at some stage. That's great news. This is ready to come off as well, I would have thought. Although there's a bit of a gap here, so... Steel benders have put the actual beams in the top, so we saw that earlier. House within reason, course-wise, is up where it needs to be apart from here. But this formwork's now going on this side. I'm not too sure if the other side's been put on yet. Need to make sure that's tight against the wall. Now this side still needs to be done, so they can actually do this side as well. And tomorrow that can be poured. This is going to be boxed up as well. That's going to be poured. That's going to be boxed up. So is all that. That's got to be poured. That's the only faux pas, unfortunately, of the week. 6'8" rather than 8 foot. that's the remnants of obviously what came off the floor. So anyway, as I always end on, still lots more to do, and another day tomorrow to conquer the world. So let's have a bit of a plan in the morning. Let's try and get on top of our stuff, and let's try and make sure by the end of this week, if we can, all the blocks are at where they need to be, all the beams are in, and it's literally full beams this weekend with a view to starting the roof, ideally next week if we can. That's the goal, so fingers crossed.